and
We
we
are live.
we are live
Yeah.
and we are direct, Val.
Yes,
Is everything
we
all looking
sure
good?
are.
Peaky cameras, lights, camera,
Yeah,
action. Here we
yeah. I
go.
ain't got the lights you got, but it's just a bit greyish
Uh,
around here. This is England, though, isn't it? So it's grey, dull,
yeah, it's
cold.
the kitchen.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can't stand the heat. Get out of the kitchen.
Kitchen. All right. Okay, folks, listen, we got a great show for you. Episode 272.
Ooh.
And yeah, we're going to be bringing you two reviews actually of a couple of movies that are released on Netflix recently.
Mm.
So we're going to be speaking about The Kitchen, and we're going to be speaking about the I always get the name wrong. Society of the Snow.
Snow. Okay.
Um, yeah, so we're going to speak about those two movies, and yeah, we hope you enjoy the show. Let's get into it, Deval. So before we do
Yep.
that, the usual.
Couple of shout outs. Yeah, got a couple of shout outs. First one goes out to Nana or Nana or
Mm.
Nana, however you want to say it. She's a follower of the show. She's gonna come on the show one of
Yeah,
these
wicked.
days.
That's what we want.
Loves her movies, TV shows. She is plugged in to probably
Mm.
more TV shows than we are, and that's saying something. So yeah, we'll catch her out. We'll catch her out soon. So you'll see her soon on the show. Next shout out goes to Awesome Bodies PT.
Mm.
Yeah, new follower on Instagram. Again, follow us
Wicked.
on Instagram, Twitter. I keep saying Twitter, Instagram, X, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok as well. So follow us on all those socials. Instagram, a lot of people like to use that, and so does Awesome Bodies PT, who is a personal trainer
Yep.
here in London. So if you want to get yourself in shape for the new year, new year, new me, new you, new they, new them, new us.
New gender neutral.
Exactly. So if you want to get that new, banging body, go to Awesome Bodies PT on
Mm.
Instagram and check out her page. So yeah,
Oh
that's
man,
the shout outs.
wicked. All right, let's get into movie news now. Deval, we already spoke about the Golden Globes on last week's show. We've already kind of
Mm.
mentioned about this kind of being award season, but Oscar 2024 nominations. Let's speak about this, man. So I distinctly remember last week's episode, you kind of said that Emma Stone, and I think this is going to happen. Yeah, you're right. It's going to happen. Emma Stone, I reckon she will get the Oscar for Poor Things because there's kind of a lot of buzz about that movie and about her performance and everything. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back to last week's episode and listen to Deval speaking about that movie. But yeah, apart from that, who else? What movies? What do you think's going to take it away, man?
I'm going to blitz through quite a few. I'm not going to talk
Yeah,
about
do them.
all the nominations, but I'll just sort of grab a few. But yeah, the Oscars is going to take place on the 10th of March, 2024. This is the 94th Academy Awards. So actor in the leading role for Mel, we've got Bradley Cooper for Maestro. You've got Coleman Sunday
Yep.
for Rustin.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen this movie, right? But I've heard about it, and they're saying that
Oh,
his performance, man, is
yeah.
supposed to be spot on.
And he's the one that some people are whispering could be the new Kang the Conqueror following Jonathan Majors,
Majors
issues.
is
So he could be
major
the new
problems.
Kang the Conqueror. Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction.
I want to watch that.
Exactly. Actor in a supporting role, Sterling K. Brown, Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer
Mm,
again. Oppenheimer, I think he got about 16 nominations.
that's a
So
lot.
Robert Downey Jr. for that one. Ryan Gosling for Barbie, although Margot Robbie didn't get any nomination for Barbie.
Nominations.
So
Yeah,
people are
weird.
cussing about that one.
Yep.
Actress in the leading role, like we mentioned, Emma Stone, Poor Things,
Mm,
Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, big one there. I hope one of those two get it.
yep.
An actress in a supporting role, Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer. We said again, America Ferrera in Barbie. Again, there you go.
Barbie.
Barbie got
Yeah.
another nod. So those are some of the main sort of acting nominations. Directing, we've got the Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon,
Mm,
Oppenheimer, Nolan, Poor Things, Yorgos Lathanos. I'm saying that
yeah. I
totally
reckon
wrong.
Nolan's gonna win, man.
You reckon Nolan's going to win finally?
I think so. I think he's done so much.
Ah,
And it's one of those movies which
yeah.
I think the Academy loves, like, it's this
Biopics.
historical
Yeah,
biopic, and like,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I big shout for him, I reckon. But
Mm,
who else,
okay.
man?
Another
Martin
nomination actually.
Scorsese.
It's the best special effects. Godzilla -1.
Mm.
So
Also, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume
is it?
3 got
Ah,
nominated. Can
ah,
you believe it?
is
Can
it?
you believe? Yeah, James Gunn. He was out in he was
Ah,
kind of celebrating. He was kind of saying, like, congratulations to the whole team, the
mm.
VFX guys, and apparently a lot of the team that worked on Guardians, they're shifting over to Superman Legacy.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, because
so
James Gunn's connection.
connections.
Okay,
I
okay,
mean,
okay, okay,
and
okay,
if you
okay.
want anyone working on your film, you want an Oscar
Yeah,
nominated
exactly.
like team,
You
right?
want that. You
But
want
yeah, it
that.
sounds, yeah. What else?
So these are a few that I actually didn't even think of, but music is so powerful in movies. Ludwig Göransson
Yeah.
for Oppenheimer. He's like the kind of new Hans Zimmer, them kind of
Mhm.
real drony, like those sounds that move you. That's what he does really
Mm.
well. John Williams, our very own John Williams, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yep.
So best picture, so the best film, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall.
I've
Okay,
heard about
Barbie.
this. Yep.
Yep. Barbie,
Yep.
Maestro, Oppenheimer. They're the main ones. Poor Things. So yeah, so there's a lot of nominations. We're gonna have to see what happens on did I say the 10th of March? I said the 10th of March. It is
Yep.
the 10th of March. So let's see what happens then. Obviously, we'll be all over who won. So make sure you tune in and stay locked in to find out.
Exactly. And also stay locked into the Flixters on this episode that you've downloaded, listener, because we're going to be reviewing, like I mentioned, the Society of the Snow,
Mm.
because
Have you
that is
seen
an
that, by the
Oscar.
way? You've seen that,
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen it.
Phew!
Yeah,
For a second,
yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Because it's Deval. It's been nominated for best foreign film.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yes.
I'm watching it today.
So,
I've been messing
mate,
around, man. I've been
yeah,
messing
man.
around. I'm watching it
What
today.
it's one of those movies which you got to watch. But anyway, we'll get onto that, in a
Mm,
moment. But so yeah, those are the kind of the Oscar nominations, and we'll kind of keep you clued up on all this one. But let's
yep.
move a little bit into kind of superhero territory now. Deadpool 3. The rumors are, Deval, that it's wrapped. Filming's wrapped. There's been lots of kind of on-set
Mm.
pictures, and Ryan Reynolds has kind of, put pictures up and everything. But yeah, you tell us the news on this one, man.
Yeah, so this one, Deadpool 2 was mad. For me, that was the
Mm,
best one so far. Deadpool
mm.
2 was, I mean, so Deadpool 1 was mad. Deadpool 2 was a bit more larger in scope. That was still mad. Lots of time travel stuff going on.
Yeah.
And now the multiverse seems to be the order of the day, which
Yep.
suggests that Deadpool 3, from what we've heard so far, is going to have a
Mm,
bit of a multiversal angle to it.
yep.
So there could be characters from anywhere in the MCU. There could be characters. I wouldn't be surprised if DC characters showed up. This is Deadpool. Anything could happen.
Can
So
happen.
basically, there's been on-set photos leaked or emailed off by the crew
Mm,
showing a Fantastic Four character, one that we all know and love, and that was the character of the Thing, Ben Grimm, played by Michael Chilikis.
yeah.
And this is from the mid 2000s Fantastic Four movies. So yeah, that's been confirmed pretty much that the Fantastic Four are going to have some kind
Yeah.
of footprint in Deadpool.
In a recent interview, apparently Deval, he's turned around and said to one of his kind of what they call one of his conditions for making
Mm.
Deadpool Part 3 and for bringing it into the MCU was no green screens. And
Oh,
apparently
what
everything is supposed to be like on location. They built
is
live,
it?
and yeah, apparently. So really looking forward to seeing what they've done. And at the same time, I don't want to be hyped. I don't want it to be hyped
Mm,
up too much because
mm.
do you see what I'm saying? Like, so far some of the movies now, they've kind of taken a bit of a dip, and the people are talking great stuff about this. Obviously, Hugh Jackman's return as
Mm,
Wolverine, and you mentioned it could be a Wolverine from a different universe, so we don't know.
mm.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, looking forward to it. But I want to kind of temper that kind of excitement a little bit. So tell us about this one. Let's move on a little bit. So Tom Hollander and a payroll gaff. Like, what's going on over here?
Oh man, let me ask you a question. Yeah, what would you
Mhm.
do if work, paid you incorrectly? Let's say, for example, just throwing it out there. Let's say you get £1,000 for a month. Let's just say that, and then
Mm.
one day you check your payslip and there's 10,000, so
Mate,
10
I'm taking that
times
money
more
out.
than you should normally get paid. What would you do?
I'm
What would
taking
you
that
do?
money out and I'm sending it, and I'm like, you know what? So they can't get hold of it at all. Oh man! And then I close the bank account.
But then, are you going to leave the workplace? I mean, are you willing to, you know?
No, I just play dumb. I don't know what you're
So,
talking about.
what's this? I
What?
didn't get any
What's
money.
this?
Basically, what happened was we all know Tom Holland from Spider-Man. Yeah, Tom Holland, Avengers. He was in Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, all kinds of stuff. Done really great with Marvel. So there's a
Yeah.
guy also called Tom Hollander, he's an older actor than Tom Holland.
Yeah.
He was in The White Lotus, a TV show that done really well.
Yes.
Done really well. So somehow, I don't know how this happens. I don't know how they do the payroll. I don't know what happened, but basically, Tom Hollander was sent Tom Holland's MCU bonus
Oh
pay.
my
So these actors
gosh.
receive a bonus pay after the fact. He received his bonus pay, which was, he said, it was eye watering. Like compared to what he normally gets paid, it was eye watering.
Imagine that.
And he immediately told them the mistake. He didn't do what you said. He told them, "You sent me the wrong money."
Exactly. And I bet you he's probably thinking this little shit is
I
getting
know
millions in
exactly,
bonus, and there I
exactly,
am,
exactly,
60-year-old actor and
exactly.
doing these TV shows. Oh man, imagine what that bonus was, Deval.
He said it was
4 or 5 mil? It must have
I
been
think it was
maybe
something
even more.
around that. Yeah, yeah, as a bonus. Yeah, I think it was something around that. And this guy, he
Uh,
said that he got paid, I think 30,000 for one TV show he done. He got paid 30 or 40,000
yeah.
pounds. That is, so that's maybe $50,000 or something. I don't know.
Gosh,
And he saw
man.
this millions, and he was like, "Mate, mate,
Mate. Oh
mm,
man. What yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Now in that situation, yeah, you're gonna give it back.
yep,
Um and then speak about it on like you know what you did. All right, okay. Let's do new and streaming now. Devout, seriously, man. I'm not I don't have the echo feels, so you're gonna
no."
I'm still not on it, but tell me, has it gotten better? Are you getting anything out of it? What is it getting better? Is it good?
I'm on episode 4, and
Mhm.
it's gotten interesting. I wouldn't say better. So we're finding out things about the character of
Yeah,
Echo, and she's an interesting character. I think the fight scenes are a bit, I don't know. It's just I think Marvel kind of has that footprint when it comes to fight scenes, especially when it's, and this is going to sound sexist, but I don't mean it to. But you know when it's like a lady fighting a big man, for example,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like she always comes out on top, especially
yeah.
when there's about 4 or 5 of these men attacking her. It's like the realisticness of it.
Is
Even
a
if it was
bit
a man against 4 or 5 men, to be honest,
it will still
that
be
is
hard.
exactly.
Yeah.
But when you see the matchup, you just think, oh, okay, we've seen this so many times before. It was good before, but
Mm,
now we've seen it so many times, it gets a bit tiring.
yeah.
But as a character, I think she's more interesting when she doesn't fight. And
Mm,
obviously, then you've got Kingpin, he's in it, but we all saw her shoot him in the face
yeah.
a couple of years ago in the Hawkeye series, but somehow Marvel can't keep people dead.
Oh gosh. So they
So,
because do you remember when they battled in the Hawkeye one? They
yeah,
battled, didn't
yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and she
yeah.
beat him.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just, but yeah, like I say, I'm only what am I? I'm episode 3, I think. There's 5 episodes altogether, or 6.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put my full judgment on it until I get to the end. So
Until you
so
get to the
far,
end. Yeah.
it's interesting, but it's not. You
Yeah.
know,
Now I'm not sure, and obviously take this with a pinch of salt. Apparently, there's a rumor going around that in the new Spider-Man movie,
hmm,
Kingpin's going to be in it. He's going to be playing the mayor
okay,
and of New York or whatever, Hell's
hmm,
Kitchen or whatever it is. And the plot line that was leaked was he's making superheroes kind of illegal, like
I'm banning them. Oh, okay.
banning like superheroes type of thing. So Superman, Spider-Man teams up with Daredevil, and
Hmm.
there's going to be this whole thing. But I don't know. Do we want Spider-Man fighting Kingpin? I know, obviously, back in the comic books and obviously in the cartoons and stuff, their history goes way, way,
Yeah,
way
yeah,
back.
yeah.
They're like enemies. But I don't know. I don't know. Well, what's happening with Tom Holland and that Spider-Man and the multiverse? Is that because remember it's kind of like a bit of a soft reboot, right?
Mm. I think it's going to be hard to really top the last Spider-Man film.
Yeah,
I almost feel like they should leave it alone for a while because
I
that one
know.
was so good. It ended it so nicely, even though it was sad, but that
Mm,
was powerful. And
yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's going to be strange, man. And you
Mm,
know what? That's one movie that they cannot rush. I just hope
mm,
Sony doesn't
mm,
start thinking, "Oh, come on, let's get." Because at the moment there's a bit of a lull. So we'll see what
mm.
happens with that. Echoes out on Disney Plus. Go check it out. If you do watch it, let us know what you think. Let's do trailers. So we've got several trailers over here that we want to speak about. Now, The Last Airbender, Deval. This has already been made into a movie. I know it's kind of an animation. It was done
Mm,
by M. Night Shyamalan and starring
yeah,
Dev Patel years ago, and it flopped. It stunk big time. I remember watching it. Then we've had, there's a reboot revival going on Netflix. But tell us about this one because I haven't seen it.
yeah. This is a new one. This is on Netflix. This
Mm,
looks like a bit more of a true to the source material
right.
version, if I can say that.
Yeah.
It does seem like they've taken the feedback on board from the last one that didn't do so well,
Mm,
and maybe this one could do. I've never really been an Airbender
yeah.
fan, but I know it's a world phenomenon. People loved it, the last
People love
Airbender.
it. Mm,
This one looks like it's a bit more true to the animation and stuff. So this one looks like it could be interesting. It could be, So you see all the special powers he's got and all
yep.
that, and he's air bending, and someone else can do fire and all
Mm,
that kind of stuff. And he's got the actual sign on his head, which I'm not sure
yep.
if he had in the last one, but this one, yeah, it does look interesting. I'll be honest. I probably won't watch it because I just don't. I'm not really into the Last Airbender. But
Mm,
I know if
yeah.
once it hits Netflix, lots of people will. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, defo. And it's interesting that they're bringing kind of Japanese kind of story like animation, like
mm,
based on animation,
yeah,
and they have got a lot of animation anyway on Netflix as well. So
yeah,
there's a lot of that stuff going on. I'm like you. I'm not. It's not kind of like on the top of my list to go and watch, but
mm,
hey, we'll see what happens with that one. I'm talking about the Last Airbender. So we've mentioned Dev Patel. He was in the Last Airbender, like
mm,
way back when. He's in a new movie, and Deval and I we just recently just kind of watched this trailer. So
yep,
this is from the mind of Jordan Peele.
mm.
So obviously he's got great mind behind it, and it's directed by um
Why did he say that? It's from the mind of Jordan Peele. He's got a great mind behind it.
I know that was a bit weird.
Mind,
Mind.
mind over matter.
Because the reason why I'm thinking is because what, when he did the Twilight Zone, it
Yeah,
was like the
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
It
And
was
it's so
like
funny about him. He's the Key and Peele, the comedian, the
comedian, like nerdy.
stupid comedy stuff that he used to do to then this. It's so mad how it can both work. It's mad.
I know. This is why we're getting so people want you and I to do something about like,
Ah,
the nerdy stuff that we do. We need to combine and do something anyway.
ah,
That's for another podcast. But listen, so this one, so produced by Jordan Peele,
mm,
directed by Dev Patel, and
mm.
he's going John Wick, but
John Wick
it's like
in India. Yeah, it's
it's John
literally
Wick in India,
John
and it
Wick in
reminded
India.
me. He's got the suit on, he's got the
Yep,
tie on, he's got like it's those kind of those hallway fight scenes. There's
yep,
fisticuffs. There's kind of
yep,
all this sort of stuff going on,
yeah,
and yeah, obviously action packed,
yeah.
and
So this is called Monkey Man.
yeah, and it's
Monkey Man, and I think this derives from. I don't know if it's the Hindi
yeah, it's
religion.
kind of like a mythology, like
Yeah, I think there might be some sort of link to like some sort of
like
monkey
yeah, monkey
god or
god,
something. Yeah, so I
yeah.
think that's what it could be. So, yeah, it's good. I mean, he's linking his traditional,
Mm,
life to the movies, and it looks like a bit of a gangster film. The only thing I didn't like from everything you said was spot on, especially the
mm,
contrast. There's lots of blacks and reds, and it looks very
Reds,
stylish, like John Wick.
yeah.
But there's a scene in the trailer where I'm thinking, oh, come on, Dev, you could have bulked up a little bit.
I
Look a
know
bit
he's so
beefy. My
thin.
man looks, and he's punching people. That's why I say it doesn't look realistic.
Imagine
It needs,
him versus five. Like, there's a bit where I think there's like about 10 guys that come out
yeah,
of the lift, which I've
yeah,
seen by the way. And there
yeah.
was they took a scene from Mission Impossible,
Oh, Mission Impossible. Okay, yeah.
Old Boy as well.
Mm.
It gave me old boy vibes as well. But the bit with the fish tank, that was
Oh
Mission
yes.
Impossible.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have bulked up a
So
bit, man, because he's taken off
he
his
should have.
shirt. He's got his vest. You got to bulk up a bit, because otherwise it doesn't look realistic. You're beating up all
Yeah.
these men, and you're just there looking flimsy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. So yeah, so there's kind of like all this sorts of going on. But anyway, go check it out. It's called Monkey Man,
Yeah, it's
and
gonna be good, I
it's,
reckon.
it's going to be coming out in April, I
Yeah,
think, as well. So we'll
yeah,
see what happens with that
yeah.
one. Now let's do Star Wars. So Deval, I know you've kept up with kind of the Bad Batch, but so this is going to be the last. We're not. There's not going to be a Bad
Yeah,
Batch. But do you reckon there'll be a live action Bad Batch?
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe not a Bad Batch movie, but I reckon there'll be a mission or something
Mm,
where they say to someone like Daisy Ridley, "We're gonna send you off a galaxy far, far away. This is gonna be an area of the Outer Rim where you're gonna need a group that can really support you." And
and
they're gonna
then
be
it's
like, you'll see the file say Bad Batch or something.
Batch.
She'll go
Yeah,
somewhere,
yeah,
meet
yeah, yeah,
them,
yeah,
do a
absolutely.
mission, and we'll know, oh, that's the Bad Batch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I reckon that will happen. But yeah, the Bad Batch is a good animated series. Or do you know what? Let me say this plainly and clearly. Yeah,
Mm,
Star Wars hasn't been so good recently.
yeah.
Yeah, but let me just say this clearly so everyone can understand that animations are
They're good.
really,
Mm,
really good. Don't class them in the same quality as the movies and stuff. The live action,
yeah.
the Ahsoka, not Ahsoka, sorry, the Jedi stories,
Yes,
the
that was good.
Clone Wars. The Clone Wars
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
wicked, and then the Bad
Mm,
Batch is also good as well. And they all kind of link up. So the Bad Batch is the last season that's going to happen. If you can watch any of the animated seasons, watch them all,
yeah.
and then watch the Bad Batch as well on Disney
Mm,
Plus. It's really good,
yeah.
honestly.
They're doing something better with the kind of animation stuff. What and why is that? Is it because they don't have the constraints? Is it because they could just let
That's it.
loose?
That's it. Less shackles, man. Less
Yeah.
shackles. I think that's
The
what is
mythology
needed.
around Star
Less.
Wars and
If you put less shackles on someone, what does it make them?
mm,
Free to do
free.
what should be done. You know, you got to trust these
Mm,
people. And the Bad Batch is just basically a batch of the soldiers, what they're called again, stormtroopers that
stormtroopers.
maybe were like, you know, you go to the fruit and veg
Yeah.
section, and some fruits are not as they're not
They've
shapely
got like a
or
different shape. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but they still got the same nutrients, you know, and that's what these
Mm.
people are. They're out of shape. They're a bit of a misfit. Don't listen to orders, but they're a good team. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's the
that's
Bad
interesting. That's
Batch.
good. That is. Go check that one out. Star Wars: The Bad
Mm.
Batch, and this one on Apple TV. Now we've spoken about Apple TV before. They're ramping up Apple TV. They're getting big name films, big name movie stars, big shows. All that sort of stuff on the Apple TV subscription, and the good stuff coming out of there. So this is called Constellation. So Deval, tell us about this.
Yeah, this is on Apple TV, just like you said. Constellation stars Numi Rapace.
Mm.
Do you remember her?
Yeah, we love her from Whatever Happened to
Alien.
Friday.
But yeah, oh Monday. What happened to
Monday.
Monday? Yeah,
Yeah,
and
she's been in loads of other stuff.
yeah, Prometheus. She was in Lamb. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
what a
Oh
film!
no. Oh man, what a film. Craziness.
Crazy film. She's good at those abstract films, man.
Yeah.
A24 should be like
Mm.
her lane. But yeah, Constellation, Apple TV. This is about a space mission. She's part of a space team that go to space, obviously,
Mm.
and they uh they return after a disaster happens in space. They
They
return.
bring something back.
Something comes back with her that
Oh gosh.
is insidious.
Oh
And
gosh.
I don't, from the trailer, you get that impression, but you don't fully understand just what it is.
Mm.
So you need to watch it to find out. That's how they kind of tease
Yeah.
you with, the
And
trailer.
when's this coming out?
This is coming out. This is coming out this next month. Yeah, February 21st is coming out on Apple TV.
Okay, so not too long to wait, about a month's time. Well,
Yeah.
less than a month's time now. So go check that one out. Go check out all those trailers actually, and
Mm.
let us know what you think of them on our YouTube or Instagram page, and let us know what you think of them. Let's do a anniversary corner film now. This is linked to one of the movies that we're going to be speaking about later on. So this is 20 years ago,
Mm.
2004. I remember watching this on in cinema, and yeah,
Mm.
man, this is Jake Gyllenhaal. This is the kind of is it the Roland is it Roland Emmerich? It feels like a Roland Emmerich movie.
Yeah, end of the world kind of shit. Yeah, you're right. It's him.
Yeah, this is The Day After Tomorrow, and I
Yeah.
remember when Jake Gyllenhaal, the fresh faced,
Mm.
Donnie Darko, and
Mm.
new big rising Hollywood star, and then about what happens if the world kind of freezes over? How would humanity survive? It's kind of like the end of days type of a thing going on,
Mm,
and this is that movie. So these disaster movies, man, they do big business.
yeah, big business. And do you know what? This sort of film probably, if it came out now, probably will have a more poignant effects because the way
Mm,
people are a bit more learned and understand a bit more about the environment and what can
global
happen.
warming and things like that.
Yeah, and in this one, like the day after tomorrow, the world really goes into the ice age. It's kick-started into the ice age by our humans abuse of the world, and
Mm,
the world freezes over really quickly. There's a few scenes in the film where that it just happens quick. I
yeah.
think is it Jeffrey Wright? Someone is in a base in Antarctica, or was it the Arctic?
Yes.
And
Might have been.
it just starts to freeze over
Freeze.
really quickly. It's
Yeah.
mad. Obviously, it's the movies, but it just shows you that, like, Mother Nature. We are nothing compared to like
Oh,
what nature wants to do. So yeah, this is 20 years. It's aged quite well. Jake Gyllenhaal still looks the same. To be honest, it's weird. He looks the
still
same.
looks the same.
Yeah, it's the same, but this is just a real sort of depiction of what can happen and what has happened before. The world has gone through different
Mm,
stages. We've gone through Ice Age. We've gone through, the Jurassic and all kinds of different stages in the Earth's evolution, and we're just here to play a part in it. We don't control it. It
no,
happens with or without us. So
absolutely
you
true.
know,
Here's a quick question though: extreme dry heat or the freezing cold, Deval? Which one of those two would you rather be in? And it's an end of
that's a
world. It's an end of
really
world scenario. It's either going to be freezing cold, ice age, or it's going to be like driest heat, desert. 850 degrees, and that's it. Oh man, this is back because both are.
that's a good question. Me personally, because of my body works kind of mad. I always get really hot.
Mm,
So for
yeah.
me, and I know just on thermodynamics and how we can operate as humans, we can
Mm,
generate heat, but we
mm,
can't generate cold.
cold.
We can generate heat by movement, so we can battle the cold to an extent, but we can't battle the heat. We can't do anything
Mm,
to reduce the heat. So on thermodynamics, I'll go for the cold.
yeah, cold as well. That's an interesting one. And listen,
Mm,
that kind of leads us into the one of the movies, the one of our film reviews, because it's did this movie called Society of the Snow is kind of to do with the snow and to do with the ice and to do with kind of the terrain and about what happens, if you get stranded
mm,
in
mm,
an extreme situation. So this
mm,
movie is based on a true story. So this really happened, 1972.
mm.
A plane traveling from Uruguay that was traveling from Uruguay and was supposed to be landing in Santiago de Chile, a few hours away.
I like how
Uh,
you say it all properly. You don't say Uruguay
uh,
and Santiago de
Santiago de
Chile.
Chile. I had to, man. I got to put in my kind of my little flair on it. So this is October. So this movie
Uh,
is set in October 1972. So a rugby team and their kind of friends and family traveling from Uruguay. They take this flight, and there's supposed to be like a rugby match that's going on, in Santiago and everything. So they're on the flight and everything, and then obviously they start experiencing turbulence, and it all stems from pilot error. So
mm,
there were 45 people on board. The pilot, he miscalculated something, the gauge on the one of the instruments. He thought that he was actually higher, so he descended. But because of visibility, didn't realize he was supposed to be higher than what he should have been. He was lower. The
mm,
plane clips the mountain, the fuselage breaks off, the
mm,
plane crash lands, and the nightmare begins. So this
mm.
movie, directed by J.A. Bayona, and Deval, I didn't even realize this. J.A. Bayona, he's a Spanish film director. He did what was it again? He did kind of
Suicide Squad, was it? No.
I think he did Suicide Squad.
Is it?
He's from Barcelona, Spain. He did The
Oh,
Impossible. He did The
oh,
Orphanage. He did Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
that's it.
He's
Yeah,
done, yeah, he's done kind of like
yeah,
big movies.
yeah.
So he's kind of, he brings the spectacle. So the moment where the impact that we have with the,
Mm.
with the with the plane with the mountain, Deval, it's nasty. Bones breaking, faces being smashed. And if you can imagine the whole of the seats, everyone getting crushed, faces getting splattered, eyes getting popped out, like, the whole shebang, what you can kind of imagine happens. So 45 get reduced to kind of like, say, 38, and then the nightmare begins for these people. The cold, the freezing cold, the surviving in the Andes mountains. um an hour after the plane crashed, they sent out airplane to kind of investigate them, because obviously they were waiting for that flight. They didn't even see them. You couldn't even see,
Mm.
because the snow was so thick that they were camouflaged basically. They they were stranded for 47 days. Deval, it's nasty. They resorted to
But you can't laugh.
cannibalism.
Oh,
Deval, I'm not even joking, man. This
so I was going
movie,
to
right?
ask, did they have supplies and stuff like, because you
No,
can
they
survive?
they
I don't
got
know.
they got through the supplies, whatever
Mm,
chocolate, whatever
mm,
alcohol, whatever they had. People basically dying from the cold, from
mm,
hypothermia,
mm,
from, like, the injuries that they all sustained. And then the hunger basically sets in, and people were like, no, I'm not going to eat, I'm not going to eat, I'm not going to eat. And then the only way that they could have survived was to eat the bodies that were there. And then, oh my gosh, man,
mm.
after, by the end of it, there were only like about 14 people that survived. Two people, they basically trekked 61 kilometers with no trekking equipment, just the clothes that they had on, the footwear that they had on. They trekked 61 kilometers and they walked all the way to Chile,
What?
because they were stranded. They were still
Yeah,
stranded
yeah,
on the
yeah.
Argentinian side. They trekked over, and it was just by pure luck that when they got there, a cowboy, what they call them, like gaucho, like, one of the cowboys that were in Chile over
Mm,
there, saw these two guys that appeared out of nowhere, and then they wrote a note. They threw the note across the river, and saying that we're survivors from the plane that crashed, like, 30 days ago, 40
mm,
days ago, whatever. Please get
mm,
help. Oh my god, it's harrowing. It's a
mm,
nightmare. The kind of, it makes you think about what you would do in that situation. Number one, there were religious people on board the plane, so they were like, we're not going to eat, because it's against
mm,
like Christianity, it's against like Catholicism and stuff like that. But then on the other side, people are like, well, we have to survive, God's going to forgive us.
mm,
um so there's the moral question about, do you eat
mm,
flesh?
mm.
What do you do to survive? you
Oof.
know so
Gosh.
it's like, what would you do in that situation? And second of all, is, will your body survive the extreme temperature? First of all, if you
Yeah.
do survive that, then how are you going to kind of generate the heat and survive and all that sort of stuff?
It's what we're
Oh man,
talking about. It's a
it's
mad dilemma,
mad.
and I guess some people are thinking, okay, if somebody does pass away, there's nothing you can do for them anyway, and wouldn't they want you to survive? But then
Yes,
it's the moral dilemma of, I'm actually eating one of my teammates here.
I
You
know.
know,
There's a moment in the movie
I can't even
where they
imagine that.
there's a moment in the movie where they speak about consent. So one of
Mm.
the guys is like,
Gives his consent
bodies.
if he dies.
Yeah, this guy
Oh.
is like, the bodies that are outside, they never gave us consent to eat the body,
Mm.
and then there's complete silence. So people are just kind of pondering that really deep question, and then one of the guys goes, "I give you consent to eat my body if I die," and then another person says, "I give you consent," and then another person says, "I give you consent," and man, they're eating their friends. They're eating,
I didn't know they're like
the
barbecuing it. Like, what's the how are they
and
like on over the
ex-
fire and all that? Like,
no, man, this is raw meat.
oh, at least cook it. I know it sounds
Mate,
mad.
I
Sorry, I know.
know,
I
no, but
mean,
the thing that got to me was is like, how are
gosh,
they keeping it down? So they put the
yeah.
meat inside the ice, and then it helps them to kind of eat it. They had like a few people. They cut the bones. They ate heart. They ate,
That's
they
going
ate
over. That's
heart,
going over the top. Why go
livers.
through everything else? Get just the legs, isn't it? Legs and
There was nothing.
buttocks.
They
The
they got
legs.
through all of that, and then
Oh, are you
but
serious?
they got because there
Oh,
were so many days.
okay,
Then they
okay,
started
okay,
eating
okay.
heart, and then they started eating brains.
Oh my gosh.
Duval. This is what I'm trying to say to you is
You
like,
talked about
how,
brains before with Jordan Peele. He's come back for you.
the brains behind this.
Oh
But
my
it's like,
gosh.
what do you do? The movie's brilliant, and it kind of really shows that kind of the breakdown of kind of what
Mm.
happens, and not only that. So not only do they crash land, not only do they have to fight the cold, not only do they have to fight
Mm.
hunger, the
Mm.
avalanches. They get stuck in avalanches
The
as well,
AVAX,
man.
AVAX comes down. Oh my
AVAX. Oh my god,
oh my gosh.
avalanche. But listen, and then they get trapped, and then they can't breathe, and then they have to crawl out of the
Oh
snow.
my.
So it's like whatever, like the thing that you can throw at these people, and by the end of the movie, you just have to ask yourself: is how the hell did they survive? How did they do it?
That do you know what? This is old school people. 1972, you said? That
1972.
happens now. I'll give them 4 days, five
People
days
wouldn't last. They'll
max. That's
start
it.
fighting. They'll
Done.
start fighting each other. Start killing
Done.
each other, and then there'd be no one left. That's it.
Yeah, done. Wow, I got. I'm watching this film
Mate,
today.
honestly, watch it. It's
I've
Oscar
messed around too
nominated.
long. I've messed
Yeah,
around too long.
and it's look, the movie's 2.5 hours long, right? But
Mm,
it doesn't feel like 2.5 hours, like
okay.
because there's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff going on. There's action in it. There's kind of like there's drama. There's that moral kind of
Teacher,
question about what you
say
do.
no more.
Devour, man,
Honestly, Society of the Snow on Netflix right now, so it's easy to get as
right
well.
now, just watch it. But don't honestly, don't fly after watching this
Oh
movie,
my
man.
gosh.
Don't do
Imagine,
not
imagine
do
like
not.
fly over the snow. You're going to be like,
What and
you're
the
looking at
route
the
and
passenger thinking, who's got the most meat on them?
yeah, exactly. And the route that they take, is like so the Andes, obviously, the highest peaks in South America.
Mm.
You fly right beside them, and then you cross over. But this guy, this pilot, just kind of he was in another planet. It just
Was he
didn't
looking for a
look.
shortcut or something, or was he just?
Yeah, so they were basically so there's fly parallel to the Andes, and then
Mm.
you cut across. But this guy cut across, thought he was able to pass, thought he
Mm.
was high enough, but he was actually low, and then just clipped the whole thing.
Why can't he just fly over it? Why is he flying? I don't understand. You on
Because
a plane, you can.
there's a pass where you can go and you fly over
Oh,
it where it is low. He
wait,
thought he was going
what? They want to have a good view or something? Why can't you just fly
just
over it?
fly
Like I don't
above
understand.
over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because apparently it's to do
Oh
with
man.
the air.
Oh,
Um,
the air pressure and the
and
what do you
yeah,
call it?
and there is a bit where you do fly over it, and
Mm.
that's the safest part to fly over it. But he miscalculated that whole thing.
Oh, that's long, man. Oh, that's
Oh
long. That's
man,
long. That's long.
it's crazy. So go watch it. It's definitely kind of my movie of the week, and yeah, let us know what you think about that one.
Clinic,
So
man.
Deval, have we got time for another one?
Yeah, yeah. I'll do this one real quickly.
Yeah, do
This
this
is
one.
the kitchen. The kitchen is on Netflix, and this is this film stars Kane Robinson. Some people in the
Mm,
UK know him better as Kano. He was in Top Boy
yeah,
and been in Top Boy for the whole time. Actually, really good character in Top Boy. People liked him a lot. And this is a post-apocalyptic kind of film. So this is
mm.
set in London or in the UK. Is it London? Actually, I don't
Yeah,
know if
London, I
it's.
think it is. Do
I
they
think it
say
is
London? I
London.
can't
I
remember.
don't remember. Yeah, it is set in London. Yeah, so
Yeah,
a dystopian future in London where all social housing has been eliminated. So there's no social housing for people anymore, and the government control how people live. They put them in these kind of I don't know how to call them, but they're almost like
like
ghettos, shanty towns, like areas of
blocks.
blocks, of real low deprivation. and
Mm.
people are, there's crime there, there's this there. Kind of sounds like now, to be honest.
So
Because
bad.
when people kind of, maybe come to this country, or certain sort of, I don't know if I can call it this, but social status. People of certain
Mm.
social status get put in certain social environments, and that's where people tend to stick to. And this kitchen represents that on a sort of on a bit of a, on steroids almost.
Mm.
So the film stars Kane Robinson, who is he's maybe in his mid 30s or so. He's lived. You can tell he's lived. He's
Mm.
gone through some shit. He lives in the kitchen, which is this area that he just don't want to live in. He wants to get out. He really wants to get out of this area. He works in a funeral home type place, and like I said, this is the near future. So in this funeral home, when someone dies, it's like they get, rather than sort of cremation and stuff, they get put into plants. I think it is
Yeah.
something weird like that.
Yeah.
So their memory can live on in a plant or something, and people can go and visit them at this garden.
Mm.
You know,
So
and
the
that's how he.
roots are there, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's kind of where he works, and he's working to try and get himself out of the kitchen. And to do that is a long process. You got to have the money, and you've got to put yourself in a waiting list, which takes ages.
Mm.
Through working at the funeral home, he comes across this young boy who's going to his mum's funeral, who's going to be put into this plant. He kind of has a connection with this young boy, and the young boy has a connection with him. And we later find out that that boy is his son.
Mm.
Yeah, and the lady whose funeral was happening, you know, Kane Robinson, he knew who it was. It was a lady that he was
Yeah.
with. You know,
Yeah.
so now they get a bit of a connection, a bit of a father-son relationship that is a bit of a hesitant one, if I can say, because Kane, his name's Izzy, Kane Robinson's character. He doesn't want to be a dad. Doesn't want to know the
Mm.
boy. He doesn't feel attached to him. But this young boy needs guidance, and he can
Yeah,
tell
man.
the young boy's he's in pain. He's been through some shit. Maybe he can see a bit of him in this young boy. So throughout the film, their relationship kind of is like this, a bit like a stock exchange
Mm.
chart. It goes up, goes has its
Good.
downs, like that. And in amongst that, this young boy then starts to go to other gangs and he wants belonging. That's all
Yeah.
young people do. He wants to belong. He goes to this other gang, and they sort of teach him the ways. And the funny thing is, when I saw this trailer, I thought, okay, this is going to be like Top Boy, basically.
Gritty, kind of like, yeah,
Yeah.
urban gang warfare
And do you
type
know
of
what?
movie.
It isn't that. There's hints of that, but the film is more about relationships, because this
Yeah.
gang that the young boy joins, for start, they don't do crime. They do a little bit of
No.
crime towards the end, which I'm not condoning at all, which is bad.
Yeah.
But for most of it, it's about them trying to survive and them just being a
And giving
family.
food, and they were giving
Yeah,
food to the people of the kitchen.
yeah. I was like, okay, so this isn't about just crime. This is about relationships and family
Mm.
and struggle. And I was like, okay, this is a bit different. And even the
Mm.
relationship between Izzy and a young boy, that was about father son, a reluctant relationship. And I was like, okay, this is a bit different.
Mm.
Also, we got like a person that speaks in this kitchen place is very confined, and you got a person that is like a voiceover of the city,
Yeah.
almost like a grandfather of the city. He's played by Ian Wright, who in the UK is a
Yeah.
very famous footballer. He's retired now, but he's a big personality. He's in this film too.
Mm.
So this film, yeah, it's a bit different to what I thought. Like I said, it's post apocalyptic. It's showing you elements of what's happening now.
Mm.
That's a bit more behind the scenes. People put into these locations where it's high crime, deprivation, and some people tend to go down a path of negativity. And this film, I guess, for most of it, is trying to show you the positive angle of those, people in those areas that are struggling and trying to do things to support each other. This is directed by none other than Daniel Kaluuya,
Mm.
who's a London man. He understands what it's like. He directed this along with Kibre Tavares. They both directed. Daniel Kaluuya also co-wrote as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is an interesting film. It's not what you think it is gonna be like.
Mm.
There's a lot more
Y-
emotion to
Yeah.
this.
Oh, 100%. When I was watching the movie, man, I got
Mm.
like Black Mirror vibes.
Oh
The bit
yes,
when he was in at the
yeah,
beginning, when he was taking the shower and he's swiping
yes.
away, and Daniel Kaluuya, he's obviously been in Black Mirror as well. I got kind of vibes of The Foundation, which is this show on Apple Plus. And in this show on Apple TV is they also live in this kind of foundation. It's kind of this
Yeah.
block where
Yeah.
everyone's all living together. They all want to kind of live out. And it kind of like gave me you've already mentioned this before, but this kind of thing about society where we have a society of
Mm.
have and have nots.
Mm-hmm.
The poor people living at the bottom,
Yeah.
they want to get to the top, this kind of what we're seeing right now
Yeah.
in the world.
Exactly.
Did you notice that there were so many shots in the beginning when he's when he's on the motorbike? They had all the kind of, the signs and stuff like that. It reminded me of Asia. Like, when you see kind of
Oh yeah,
signs
all
and
the
stuff like that,
advertisements and the thing.
advertisements and
Yeah.
stuff like that, neon lights and all that sort of stuff. And you could
Mm.
really clearly see this was kind of like that. It kind of reminded me a bit of, there's a movie, Escape from New York as well. There's kind of like, I remember
Mm.
there's a couple of shots in there.
Mm.
But you're right, man. It's not like your typical, like, urban, gritty
Yeah.
gangster
Yeah.
London
Yeah.
warfare. It's about relationships and about kind
Yeah.
of where we fit, where you come from.
The rich and the poor.
Uh,
There's another show that's I think it's a Brazilian show where there's rich and the poor. I can't remember what it's called. Is it the
yes.
44 or what's it called? It's called
Yeah, I think it's something like that. If the
8% or
4400 or
something
something.
like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's a massive divide between the rich and poor, and you can sometimes apply to go to live with the rich
Mm,
people, but most people don't make it through. And there's
yeah.
a war happens basically. It breaks out because of it. But so yeah, this is an interesting one. Watch it on Netflix. I mean, you got two good picks for Netflix.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. If you got
Can't go
Netflix,
wrong, man.
then watch. You got Society of the Snow, and you got The Kitchen. So yeah. What more can we say? Give it a watch.
Exactly. Give those two a watch and let us know what you think.
Mm.
And on next week, I mean, that's the end of today's episode. So we hope you really, really enjoyed that one. On next week's show, Devout, at some point, we're going to have to speak about Argyle, man, because I'm hearing, because you can actually speak about it now, I'm
Well,
hearing
yeah,
strong
yeah, yeah.
reviews.
Okay. Oh, you are. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool.
I'm
Okay. Yeah. I
reading
can talk
about it.
about it.
People are
Yeah.
saying, like, strong reviews. So at some
Yeah.
point, I'm going to watch that one. Now, there's got to be another big major kind of, there's a documentary apparently on Netflix, which is supposed to be doing really, really well at the moment, which
Okay.
I want to
Oh,
check out.
the American something. Is
Mm,
that the
American, yes,
American
about the
something?
couple that gets,
Yes.
there's like a
Yes.
home invasion or she gets kidnapped and then they
Yes.
blame
Yes.
him.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. American Crime, American Nightmare, or I think it's an American Nightmare. I think it's called. I
Nightmare
think so.
or something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to check that one out as well. And there's kind of other
Yeah,
bits and
man.
pieces that are definitely worth a watch as well. So keep it locked with the Flixters, folks. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Yep. All right. Peace out.